Welcome to a course on complex analysis. In the previous lecture, we started discussing about zeros of an analytic function. In this lecture, we are going to continue our discussion. Okay. See, here it is given that a function and a point is given to us. And we are supposing that f is analytic at z0 and value of f at z0 is 0, but f of z is not identically equal to 0 in any neighborhood of z0, which means here it is said that f of z0 is, okay, let me write it here. F of z0 is 0, but your f of z is not identically equal to 0 for all z in absolute of z minus z0 smaller than epsilon for any epsilon. Okay, that can, you can choose arbitrary epsilon in any neighborhood of z0. This is happening. With these hypotheses, we'll have to prove f of z is not a 0 throughout some deleted neighborhood. In the hypothesis, we are taking all possible neighborhoods. In the proof, in the claim, we'll have to prove in some deleted neighborhood, that which means there exists at least one deleted neighborhood in which it is happening to be true. Okay, this is what we'll have to prove. Let us get into the proof. Given f is analytic at z naught, f of z naught is 0, but f of z is not identically equal to 0 in any neighborhood of z naught. Okay, since f is analytic at z naught, f has a Taylor series expansion about z naught. Okay, it has a Taylor series expansion about z naught. Okay, f of z naught is given to be equal to 0. This implies all the coefficients in Taylor series are non-zero. Since, okay, suppose nth derivative at z naught upon n factorial, if all these are 0 for all n, then your f of z is identically equal to 0. This is the case. This cannot happen. That is given to us, right? So all the coefficients are non-zero, which means what? There may be some coefficients which are 0. That therefore, by the definition of 0 of order m, zeros of order m, we say that f has a 0 of some finite order m at z naught. So this can be written as f of z is z minus z naught to the power m g of z, where g of z is analytic and non-zero at z naught. Okay, since G of z is analytic, G of z is continuous too, right? It is continuous as well. So G of z naught is non-zero as well, because if G of z naught, we have said that f is a 0 of finite order m, which means that G of z must not be equal to 0 when z equals z naught. So that is what we have written here, right? uh, in addition to that, okay, so in addition, at z naught, G of z is analytic as well, analytic everywhere. So like, as a whole thing, what we can say is that, just a minute, let me just erase these things off. So what we can say is that G of z naught is non-zero, G is analytic at z naught as well. So this is the thing that we can say about G from this. Fine. Hence, there is a neighborhood absolute of z minus z naught smaller than epsilon, in which your f of z equals z minus z naught to the power m multiplied with g of z. This equation holds, and g of z is not equal to 0 as well, which means your f of z is not equal to 0 in the deleted neighborhood. This completes the proof. Actually, by the analyticity and the non-zero behavior of the function g in some neighborhood, we are identifying such neighborhood. If that is so, your g of z naught is not equal to 0 in that neighborhood. Okay, so we are identifying, we just remove the point z naught from the neighborhood, so it becomes a deleted neighborhood. We have identified that neighborhood with the help of G, and we are now removing the point Z naught from that neighborhood and make a deleted neighborhood. In the deleted neighborhood, your f of z is not equal to 0. Okay, that is the claim that we have. Okay, so we just proved the theorem. The next theorem tells us that if a function and a point is given, suppose f of f is analytic throughout a neighborhood. Okay, if whenever we talk about the analyticity, we will of course have a neighborhood, right? So that neighborhood we take it as n naught, and f of z is equal to 0 at each point z of a domain D or in some line segment containing c naught, right? So first of all, we have a function and a point. Okay, so in around that point only we are taking, and this is happening. Then your f of z is equal to 0 at each point z of a domain or line segment L containing C naught. Okay, so you can identify some line segment, okay, which contains the line segment, okay, from it has beginning and ending. In that thing, you have your function value equal to 0, right? Or it may be on a domain. Okay, if it is on a domain, if your function value is equal to 0 in this domain, then of course it is equal to 0 in the neighborhood as well. Even if it is on some line segment, then you'll have to prove the function is identically equal to 0, which means your function value is 0 only in that neighborhood. That is what we'll have to prove. In order to prove this, okay, I am not going to prove it completely. I would just give you the ideologies. In order to prove this, you will have to make use of the previous theorem that we have seen. That is, function admits a zero of order m at z naught if and only if it can be written in this form, and the theorem that we have just seen. So we'll have to make use of these two ideologies and prove this one. Okay, I leave it as an exercise to you people. So that's it about zeros of an analytic function. In the upcoming lecture we are going to see about zeros and poles. Thank you.